Welcome to Alaskan Freedom. Now that our shed is finally insulated and lighted, it's time to make it warm.
On this episode, we are putting the diesel heater in. In 2023, we moved to Alaska to fulfill our dream of a better quality of life. Follow along as we transform our few acres of Alaskan off-grid virgin land into our dream homestead.
We are Jay and Elaine, and this is Alaskan Freedom.
It is now dipping into the 30s outside at night, and we needed to have it warmed up in here for the batteries and for everything we're doing in here, so we installed a heater.
Yes, our shed is very spoiled compared to our actual house.
Should we move out here?
I know.
This is the N2 version from LF Bros. It's a Chinese diesel heater. We got this on Amazon. It was $250, so it's definitely one of the more expensive diesel heaters. You can get these, I think, for under $100 nowadays. But we did a lot of research. Based on the reviews, this was the better brand of all the ones we found. So there was a couple other ones I would have bought that actually ranked very high also. But the other thing it came down to was availability. So availability to us here in Alaska and of getting a good rating, this was the one we ended up with, might be bigger than what I need for this 100 square foot shed. This is rated for a house. I don't know how that's, I guess a small house. Maybe it'd work in the cabin. But anyways, we're going to put it in. But the first thing we're going to do is this comes with a built-in 1.3 gallon 5 liter tank. We are going to take this apart and make it run off of a couple of 5-gallon jugs. So we're going to set it up so it's running off a 5-gallon jug, and then when one jug is almost empty, I can just flip it over to the other one. That way we can get multiple days of use out of it without having to worry about the fuel. So let's tear this thing apart. And if you're wondering, I have no idea what I'm doing. We're just going to make it up as we go. Once we get in, there's just going to be a fuel line running from the pump to the tank. So I bought some fuel line, I got some fittings. We're just going to divert it. There was even a company that offered to give us one of these free if we did a video for them, but wasn't super happy with the reviews on their units, so we just went ahead and bought one. Okay, got that unplugged. Take that lid off. The ends come off very easily. That's so far so good. Now we've got this off, you can see down here, let me move the camera so you can see. So down here, this line right here is coming out of the tank and coming up into this pump. So all I got to do is disconnect this and put a new line that's going to come out of here. We'll drill a hole in this and go straight down to the tanks that we're going to do. So, all right. So that's the hose that was going to the tank. So all we're going to do is divert this hose somewhere else. Well, not this hose. This hose is coming off. I got a long one to replace it. I got however long this is. This looks to be about 8 feet of that same line, same size fuel line. I looked it up ahead of time, so that's how I knew. I did find information online of the diameter of this and was able to order the same one. So now we'll just run this off of that, and then this will run down and right into the tanks. Did some research on how to do this and didn't get a straight answer, but got a lot of answers that I pieced together. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is put one of these barbs in the cap. I have multiple tanks. I'm only going to put it in one cap because when one tank runs empty, I'll just pull the cap off and move it to the full tank. But these are what we're putting in it. So it comes with the washer, the nut, and it's double barb. Let's get the hole drilled first in this cap, and then we'll put one of these on. So then we're just going to take this, put that down through there. That hole is just like right at the perfect size. Take one of these washers and nuts it came with. And just attach that. Now this hole, you know, it doesn't need to be sealed or anything. There's not any liquid that's up against that hole. It's just transferring through. I think rather than use this for the vent, because there's obviously need air vent because this is sucking everything out of it. I'm going to put a tiny hole in the cap as an air vent, just because if I switch this out and I forget to switch this, it'll start sucking that tank in, and I just don't ever want to take that chance. Just a tiny, tiny hole right there. All right, so now our cap's set up with the barb in it and a tiny vent hole in it. The next thing we'll do is run a length of line that will come off the bottom of that, the bottom of the cap. So we got that all the way under there. And then we'll just put that little clamp right over these barbs. There's not really going to be any pressure on that, so I don't even know if that clamp's necessary, to be honest. Now, just cutting the length of that so that it'll go down and lay in the bottom of here. So I'll probably do like that long. So now this can just go in here. Hope I made that long enough. And yeah, that's perfect. That same fuel line will now just run off of the machine and down. So we got to figure out how we're going to come out of this. High strength drill bits in here. Here we go. I want to drill the hole straight down here so it's just coming right out of that rather than bending that line and trying to come out somewhere else. What kind of metal that is. It's Chinese, so it's not going to be too strong. As I assumed, this metal is very cheap stuff. It actually drilled real easy. Next, we want to run this guy back up onto here. Then we'll put the clamp on. And we'll put that over that barb. Got it. All right. So there's basically all we did is take the line that was coming out of here and was going into the tank right here. Now it's coming out of here and it's going to run on this hose down to our tank. I'm going to reassemble all this real quick and then we'll come back. So what we've done so far is we have put the fuel line going from our cap down, drilled a vent hole in there, and then took off the line that runs from the pump to the internal tank and have replaced it with this line. And then this will run down and connect into the top of here. This I'm not going to cut. This is way too long. I will cut it eventually, but first I want to mount everything. So when I do cut this, it ends up being just the right length. So now the next thing is to mount that. It's going to sit, we're going to build a shelf. It's going to sit right here, and then the exhaust comes out the bottom of that and is going to come out here, and then the air intake is going to come out of here into the machine. Maybe not a shelf, maybe just a couple brackets and it'll bolt in. I got to figure that out, so let's do that now. Elaine and I got a big photography job we got to do for a client. So that's in an hour, so I got to go get ready, shower and stuff, and I'll probably come back and finish this up tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. You hang out. Now the next thing is how this is going to mount to the wall. I have these two large wall brackets that are very thick. These are going to be lag bolted into some wood that's on the wall, and then these will bolt into the machine. This worked out really good. It already has these screws right here to mount, and I got the appropriate size bolt that will then go through this here and then just screw into these. So I just got to take these out and it will just mount right to those. And I'm doing it on the ones that are centered with the legs, so the legs will sit on this bracket. The thing is this hole is going to work out perfect. This hole is too far apart, so I've got to measure the distance from this one to this one and from here to here. And then through this thick steel, I got to drill another hole perfectly to align with this on both sides, and then we can mount this thing. So we're gonna use the drill press to drill these holes out to make sure we get them just perfect. So from the center of this hole to the top of there is 4 inches. So we're going to come up 6 more. And then across here, we're going to put a 2x6 and then lag. The 2x6 will go into the studs, and then this will lag into the 2x6 so that everything is good and solid. I'm going to cut it and paint it. So I'm not going to be attaching it right away because I'm going to paint it and let it dry. Okay, now we have this board painted black. Use spray paint so it'll dry quick. What's half of 9 5/8 is 4.5 plus 5/16, so 9. So it's 4 13/16. Is that right? Somebody check my math. 4 13. 13. Right there. The reason I did this rather than just building a shelf here is because the exhaust is coming out of the bottom and the pipe's coming across here. I just didn't want any wood in this area close to the exhaust. This just seemed like a better option. This is where the exhaust is coming out of the machine, down and out and over. I just didn't want a shelf sitting right here, right up against this. We just have this hole here, and then the one we drilled on each side that will run those, line it up and run those bolts up in. Am I the right bolts? Look at that, lining up just nicely. Don't you love when stuff just works out exactly how you want it? It is hung and in place. So the tanks will be down here, and they'll actually sit up on something. I don't know what yet, but I'll put something down here small just so they're sitting up off the floor, the tanks. We're gonna hook up the exhaust, so it's gonna come out, down, and out. I'm not a huge fan of this having to stick out in the room. I mean, this area is designated for this heater. It's not going to be used for anything else. So I guess it's not something I ever walk by. It's in the corner. Okay, the next step is to set up the exhaust. And this has a lot of parts involved that didn't come with this machine. The muffler we're also not using. I saw some reviews on this, and the muffler barely cuts down any noise, just by like a decibel or two. Not enough for us to care, because this is going out the back of the shed, which is the cabin's on the other side. So what we're going to do is this pipe comes out, and it's intended to, you put your coupling on here and just run it wherever. Maybe try to get this piece outside. But we do not have that luxury. We have to do more. So what we're doing is, first of all, you saw the hole that we put in. And this setup is intended for like gas exhaust. So then we have this double walled pipe that is going to go in that hole there. Heat resistant. I think it's actually fireproof. A blanket, ceramic fiber blanket. So this will be wrapped around there's actually a gap around this and where that pipe is. So it'll be wrapped around that. And then the exhaust pipe will actually come through, right through this. I have this lined up so it comes right through the center of there. Connects to this, we'll cut this to length, couple it onto here so it goes out. When it's coming out of here, so you're gonna have the exhaust pipe coming out right through the center of here. Then I have this, where we got a, wrong side. We got a cap for this. So this cap will fit on here. We're going to cut a hole in here and mount this piece to the end of there. and then the other side of the pipe that's coming out, we'll couple it onto here. And then we will also wrap that exhaust pipe with this right here. These are like a heat shield. I think they're intended for manifolds or for exhaust pipes on a car, but we're going to use it just to give one more layer of protection here from bumping it and from the heat. So we got a lot going on here. I think the first thing I need to do is cut the hole in here, attach this to here, and then get the proper measurement of this pipe so I can cut the length of it that I need to go from here to here. It's going out. So let's do that. Okay. Those holes are going to work good. And that just gets pounded into there. So this next part is going to delay us a little bit because I need to clamp this together and put some sealant on it and let it dry. I could not find any fittings that went, the exterior of these two, the outside diameter is identical. The inside is quite a bit different. So I couldn't find any fitting that went on the inside because it was different on each side. And I couldn't find any fitting that fit on the outside of this perfectly. So what I'm going to do is just take, this was at the recommendation of a guy at the hardware store, and I liked his idea, so we're going with it. I'm going to take these two, I'm going to take this clamp and just clamp them together. And then we're going to take this, what is this stuff? Gasket maker. So it's basically a sealant. It's a high heat sealant. And I'm just going to put that around there. Once I get the clamp on, just kind of put it around there to help seal it. And then over top of all of it, then we're going to put another layer of this. And this is not regular duct tape. This is flue tape. So this is a high temperature tape that is made for wood stoves or for fireplace flues. And everything here is rated for over 600 degrees. From my research, this pipe should not be getting more than 400 degrees. So we should be okay with that. We're just trying to seal it up so the exhaust isn't leaking back into the shed. So let's put that together and let this thing sit overnight. All right, so yeah, that actually did a really good job holding that in place. Put something under here so we don't make a mess, but now we'll just cover it with a bunch of this and then that tape, and that'll be good enough. So that will be within the cavity of this, and then this is double walled to kind of block it like as a heat shield, so the heat's not getting through the outside and into the walls. And even the other side of this touches metal. It's just, I'm probably overkilling this. You can see I just covered this thing just completely. And if you're doing a project like this, make sure you're using the high heat tape. There is stuff like this that looks just like this, but is not. It's made for like air conditioning and heating ductwork, and it's only rated for 200 degrees. And so put a bunch on. I don't have any other projects to use this stuff for. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it is going to serve its purpose. So I'm going to let this sit now for 24 hours. I'm going to go split some wood. See you tomorrow. Okay, this has been setting now overnight. So this is going to be all dried and set up and cured. So we are going to take now and attach this
to the pipe. It just slides inside of there, and then we'll just give it lots of pressure. And to install this, all we're doing is, so this is where we're going to put the insulation. Where I just pulled this insulation out, we're going to put that ceramic blanket insulation, that fireproof insulation here, and then this will go through that hole, and then these will connect. So let's mess with that ceramic blanket first. I was trying to buy a cable. If anybody's ever heard of that? That's what I know it as. I don't know if they don't make it anymore. I just can't find it up here. But I found this on Amazon, and my research told me it's basically the same thing. So we'll wrap this inside of there. But for fun, let's see if this stuff is really fireproof. Let's go check it out. I mean, we have an extra piece and we have a torch. That's impressive. I mean, okay, it's warm, obviously, but it did not start on fire. It didn't even char. Look at that. Didn't even blacken up or anything. That's impressive. Let's try that with regular insulation. See the difference? That's why you got to buy the right stuff for the right job. That pink one even had a bad smell. This is odorless. And then once I get this exactly where I want it, this way, I'm going to put some brackets that'll hold this together. So I'll bracket. Get this thing bent into the shape we want it. And before we put all that together, I'm going to pull that insulation back out. So we're also going to wrap that with this. This is a heat shield sleeve. So we are going to wrap this all the way from here, all the way down and around. But first we got to get the length of it put on and cut. And then that. Now we get this insulation stuff back in there that we had before. So as far as exhaust goes, that's all I'm doing. So now we're just going to hook up this air intake. Heard a noise outside. Gotta make sure a bear's not creeping up on me. So this hose is intended to go where the hot air comes out and run the direction where you want it. And I guess you could have this set up so that the air is blowing out somewhere. We're actually using it for the other side though. So this is going to be the intake. I need Elaine's help for that. Just takes a second hand to hold from the inside. So I'm going to go outside and screw this into the other end of this. So all I need you to be doing is kind of not hard, but just putting a little pressure on that so that it holds in place while I screw it. That's it. Now, as I tighten this, make sure the pipe doesn't tighten or twist inside. That's it. Appreciate your help. So Elaine helped me put that on. So that piece is now screwed onto the outside. I'll show you what it looks like from the outside. So right now it just looks like this from the outside. This piece just screwed onto the other one. And then later there will be like a little hood that comes over this with a screen on the bottom. Next, I'm just wiring the DC wire that came with it right to our 12-volt panel that we put in last week. So we filled up the other jug with diesel. And just switch out this cap. Okay, I'm just gonna turn it on and see what happens. This is upside down, and I don't know if there's a way to change that, but because it plugs in over here, and there's no extra length to this cord, so. There we go, we got some clicking. So I believe that's the pump trying to prime it, which is probably gonna take a while because it's got the longer line. We're just gonna sit here and see what happens. I'm not going anywhere. There is air coming out of this, so I can feel air coming, so it is pulling air in and blowing it back out. It's just a matter of getting diesel up into here and getting that to ignite and heat it. Right now we have an air conditioner. So right now it is beeping an error message that says out of diesel. Should we just turn it off and then turn it back on? Okay, so looks like the mistake I made the first time you turn it on, there is a, it says POLR mode. I'm going to assume that's like a priming mode where it will pump it 500 times rapidly to get diesel in the lines. I didn't do that, so we're going to try that now. So we have to turn it on a unique way to do that, so let's try that. There we go. There's some fast. You counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I do see fuel coming up. Fuel is slowly coming up the line. I think we're on the right track. Well, the pumping got significantly quieter. Whoa. It's making noise. And now there is a little flame icon on the screen, which I assume means that it's on fire. I can feel this air. It's gone from cold to warm. It's getting warmer fast. And actually the clicking now that it's primed up and running, the clicking is, I don't know how it's going to come across on the camera, but you can barely hear it. It went from annoying to can barely even hear it. The fan in the unit's much louder than the clicking is. It is 48 degrees in here now, and it is 11:22. Let's let this thing run for a little while, see how hot it gets in here. And now that the heater's actually running, just to let you know, so this is that double-walled shield. This right here is going to be so hot that if I touch that, it's going to burn me. But this is barely even warm, the outside of that. So the insulation-wise, it's not transferring heat to, and then this piece here is cold. Now we're on the outdoor part, but even if I'm on in the inside and I touch this pipe inside, it's barely even warm. So just a quick update. Since I filmed the video for the diesel heater installation, it is now, today is officially the first day where it got cold enough outside that inside of here it did hit down to 40 degrees. So I flipped this thing on for the first time to actually use it. And I did figure out how to power it down to a lower mode. So right now it is running on the lowest possible mode. And I ran it on high first for about a half hour, and it jumped up to 70 degrees. Then I turned it off and let it sit for a couple hours. It has fallen back down to almost 60 degrees. So I'm gonna let this thing run right now. It's starting to warm up outside. I think it's 40 degrees outside right now. I'm gonna let this run on low for a little bit just to, I don't know, test it out, I guess. I just now figured out how to turn it on to low. Since I installed it, I have not touched this or looked at it. other than I did come back and put in my little shelf for the diesel jugs, and also built a shelf for the for our laser engraver. Our laser engraver slash cutter is now out here in the shop, and made myself a nice little shelf. So this sits here. I got a room right here. I can put my computer that I run it off of, and it exhausts outside of here. And when I am not using it, this exhaust just detaches real easy, and then we can set that right there. So, some specs and stuff. I'm not going to mess with that for now because I don't really have any experience with this. So we're going to use it a while first, but I just wanted to show you that I did figure out how to turn this on to low and did get that shelf built. So, okay.
It's been installed for 2 weeks now, and we've used it quite a few times now.
Yep. We don't, it's not cold enough. We need to run it all day, but we have been running it for 2 to 6 hours per day, just depending on how cold it's been, just to keep the shed warm.
Initially, we're gonna run this one on low all the time to keep the shed around 50 to 60 degrees. But it actually gets a lot hotter than that.
Yeah, running this on low, now keep in mind, it's only getting in the 30s and 40s so far outside, but even running this on the lowest setting, it has like 5 or 6 settings, it's getting up to like 85 degrees in here when we run it nonstop. So what we're doing is just turning it on and off a little bit here and there. So we have 2 cool things that really help us with that.
The first one is this Bluetooth operated temperature reader
Thermometer.
or thermometer.
Temperature reader.
Temperature reader or thermometer.
Yeah.
That allows us to check the temperature while we're inside the house, and it's just a matter of
Yeah.
like 10 feet away.
So yeah, it's a little more than 10 feet, but we don't have to run out here to see the
Yes.
temperature. We can just pull it up on our phone and see what the temperature is out here. And anytime it's dropping below like 45, then we just turn the heater on. And that's the other cool thing, put that back, is the heater came with a remote.
Yeah, it's like a car key.
Yeah, and this remote works from inside the cabin also. So from in the cabin, we can check the temperature with the Bluetooth thermometer. And then if it's low enough, we can just hit the on button with this while we're in the cabin, turn it on, and then let it run for a few hours. We'll get it up to like maybe 50, 60 degrees and then just turn it back off.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're actually running this a lot less. We don't have to come out here now. Because I'm working all day long, I'm in and out of here constantly, all day long. But at least at night, when I don't feel like coming out here, I can just check the temperature, and if it's getting low, I can pop this thing on for a few hours and let it heat up. And this is so well insulated. It holds that heat in. If we run it for a few hours, it holds the heat in for many, many hours afterwards.
If you're curious how much fuel we're using,
Not much. So we put, we filled up one of these 5-gallon tanks. We're using 2, I saw the 2 jugs here. And in 2 weeks, we've used about 3 gallons running on and off. And that includes one day as a test. We ran it for 24 hours just to see how much fuel it would use, just as a test. And it used exactly a gallon in a 24-hour period running on the lowest setting nonstop. And it did get warm in here.
yeah, it's really warm.
It was like about 88 degrees inside of here, which, I mean, isn't burning up hot, but when you're outside working and it's 40 degrees or 35 degrees, and then you walk into an 88 degree shed, that's hot. With the cabin, we only keep it like 65 degrees. So it was hot.
We should start drying our clothes here, not using the dryer anymore.
Put a clothesline in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang, line
Just
dry.
get rid of my tools and make this the drying room. Again, it has 5 settings. We are only using it on the lowest setting. The only thing we have left to do is the exhaust right now is blowing out towards my tool case here and it's getting it kind of warm. So we got to elbow that out so it comes out. But that's really all that's left to do. Everything else that we wanted to do to it has worked out good. So
Now it's nice. Now we can keep all of our winter coats and winter boots in here. So whenever we need to go outside and put on our cold weather outdoor gear, it's already warm.
yeah, so kind of like an Arctic room, except it's detached. So it is only 20 feet from door to door. So we can keep one coat and one set of boots in the cabin, but then all the extra big dirty ones that we work in or get muddy and snowy, now we can keep them in here, and it's not going to get the house all wet and muddy and stuff. So that's kind of nice too. So like Elaine said, it's almost nicer than our house.
Keep a sleeping bag in here. Now this is done. The inside is done, and then now we go back to our house again and concentrate there.
Yeah, we'll be, the next 3 months are pretty much going to be really cold and a lot of winter months. So we'll be back inside working on the inside of the cabin during those months. So doing bathroom and electrical and stuff. So yeah. Thanks for joining us this week.
Thank you for watching. If you guys haven't subscribed yet,
Hit the subscribe
hit
button.
the subscribe button.
Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a
If you
thumbs
gave
up.
us a thumbs up, give us another one
Yes.
and another one. Oh, I think you can only do it once. But do it
Hey,
once.
Yes.
See, it's right down there. You're supposed to look down there like it. Okay. You married a dummy, not my fault.